Okay, guys and dolls, let's get back to work. I'm tired. I was up playing a football game and just relaxing the eyeballs. Um, uh, but it's after it's almost sunrise, so it's dawn. And so we're doing okay, psychologically and stuff. You just got to understand how you got to understand a military mindset is they're cult leaders, and people would refer to them as charismatic cult leaders. I wouldn't refer to them as that. No, charisma. Charisma is it's like you got to quit assigning good words to bad things and bad people. You know, um, uh, when people do things selfishly and they're not living the Lord's prayer, you can't use words of um, there's no good guy and there's no bad guy in conflict over money. There's just insidious brain chemical addicts that put everything at risk because they're selfish. Okay. So you can't sit there and say, okay, these guys are the white hats and these guys are the black hats. You're either living the Lord's Prayer or you're not. You're either humble and intelligent enough to stand up for that which is right, or you're not. You're either doing that which honors the eternal gifts of our lives through infinite glory, or you're not. Okay. So you're either correct or you're wrong. You know? And I'm an emotional person, so I don't express myself clinically like clinical people do. When I talk to people, I talk to them emotionally because it's wrong to talk to them clinically. Clinical people are, like Spock, which is a form of and emotional disability. Okay, that they're trying to pass off as logical and intelligent. Well, you have to do this because the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. It's like the needs of the few or the one and the needs of the many are the same. So in order to maintain needs, one has to do things logically and understand that their emotions are a precious gift to love one another so we can continue to share the needs of the one, the few, and the many because they're all the same. Okay. Needs are the same. You need oxygen, you need water, you need photosynthesis, you need you need you need shelter. Okay. Naked and afraid. No, they're just stupid. Okay. The big red CJ hand hitting the shield of Harrison Ford hitting Anthony Mackie El Stupido. You either live in the Lord's Prayer or you're not. Okay. So when you get together to do things through irrational, brain chemical addicted brain sex cult, over glorification of self through the mind and the body and deny the glory of the soul, you're just fundamentally wrong, right? And the way these people work is they just reload. And when you torture people, what you do is you give them hope, and then you try to crush that hope, and give them hope, and then try to crush that hope, and then they can react in ways where they either become homicidal, suicidal, or both. And most people become suicidal. We Govey, you know, Rexulti, Jardians, um, Trulicity. Okay, so most people become suicidal. Most people on their drugs and then you live longer. No, you get this delusion that you're more comfortable while you're dying because of your medication. Okay, you're not living longer. It just that you're giving you're comfortably numb till you die because you're being chemically poisoned to death through corporate corruption, and you accept the corporate corruption by participating with their linguistics manipulation and warfare, and they're not living the Lord's Prayer, so they're obviously wrong, right? And so you just got to understand me. I am the Spirit of Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is a man, like what Ralph Abernathy did with Martin Luther King Jr. He said, they're turning Martin into a god, and no young black men could think they could do good things, be a good husband, a good father. He got up and did a lot of these good things, but he also screwed around on his wife. And he also did things that were selfish because he got caught up in all the celebrity bullshit. So we need to realize to get across to young black men that Martin was not a god and was not without flaw, and that other young black men can attain similar, social effects and social influence, like Fred Hampton and Malcolm X and other people that got up and tried to do right things courageously and try to protect people from bullying. Right? Well, the best way to do that is the Lord's Prayer. And the Lord's Prayer is perfect. And that's why I'm me. And it's nice for people to know that, wow, he's like Jesus. And he's constant, he's consistent. He's emotional, he's not clinical. He understands our emotions, he gets us. And then he encourages us to do things in Christ's name and be the Trinity, be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. He encourages us to do things. They took Jesus and turned him into a cartoon character so he cannot live among us and be real among us. And people choose to believe in the mythology instead of the reality of the Messiah. So when I tell people that, I talk to people about this all the time. I said, when I tell people that I'm the Messiah, they look at me like I'm Marvin Martian. But if I told them that I worked for Elon Musk, they'd kiss my ass for a job and say, you're so brilliant, you super tech. It's like, yeah, fuck you. Okay. I'm the Messiah, asshole. Live the Lord's Prayer, right? It's great. I think it's absolutely great that the Messiah is so pragmatic, so emotional, and so strong and so beautiful. And he's not an egomaniac that wants everybody to bow down to his omnipotent presence through satellites and money and manipulation. I think it's so beautiful that the Messiah is a real person that's emotional and that gets us and loves us. And he doesn't ask for money. He doesn't make commercials for money. So all you Jesus gets us people, pull your head out, dress, and stand up for the Lord's Prayer, you rotten little cunt face. You ask for money for fucking one more time, I swear, I'll just let you collect all the evidence on your technology and let the quantum computing sort it out, You know what I'm saying? And then the people with, the thing, my best connection and understanding that Andre Raphael would probably be the spirit of Solomon. Okay. Yolanda's baby. Okay. That Raquel's baby, because of the tribalism and the way she was about the tribalism, would be the spirit of Uriah. And that Patrick then most likely would be the spirit of Absalom because of his close connections of emotional reactions and the way he reacts like the Marleys and his long mane now. So Patrick would most likely be closely related in spirit to the Marley family, and he's more like the spirit of Absalom, more like my cousin Bob. Okay, which makes sense because of the emotional way he reacts and the way he reacts to tribalization to fiercely protect his mother and his mother's people from abuse. So Patrick most likely would be the spirit of Absalom, and that's the way they worked it. It wouldn't work out in the same order necessarily. It has to do with the genetic line of the mother. So you'd have the spirit of Uriah, which would be plugged in the computers, Raquel's son, okay, and then the spirit of Solomon, Yolanda's son. That's why Yolanda got so depressed about us and couldn't get out of the wheelchair in her mind and stuff like that. Because on a subconscious recognition, if you know you're the mother of the spirit of Solomon and he's going to be taken and plugged into a computer for 40 years, that's emotionally just depleting and depressing. And that's why when Law would look at the spirit of Absalom in the backyard and think, here this kid is out running around and everything like that, knowing on a subconscious level, because past, present, future operate at the same time, that her beautiful, Solomonistic son is plugged into a computer. And that's very emotionally difficult on Patrick to have two brothers from different warring tribal sects of violent tribal warfare in Africa and a European father, plugged into computers to try to manipulate their minds to perform genocidal operations for selfish people. That's very horrible. You know, I can't dream this stuff up. I just, I'm not uh, a brain chemical addicted scientist who sees himself as pragmatic because they manipulate people and it gives them false delusions of power. It's wrong to quit the guilty and deny justice to the innocent. Um, uh, the poor plead for mercy and the rich answer with insults. And the wealthy are fools who perceive their wealth as a high wall of safety. Those are words obviously spoken by a man whose spirit gets plugged into a quantum computer by those that are absolutely disgusting and are guilty of being disgusting and have no intention on quitting because they have delusions of grandeur and thinking that they can destroy God and replace God with the delusions of their power through their manipulation of matter and mind manipulation. Like watching, the stuff they had the science thing about the geyser in Wyoming and the volcano in Hawaii, and they're just basically it's watching their science projects and how they're trying to alleviate pressure through genocidal operations, through global management, through manipulating things to not help, to engage people to feel hopeless and have them feel, mostly suicidal. That's what they're trying to do with people that are clinging to religion to save them through it, like poor Catherine yesterday at Arby's. I see those clouds as the hand of Jesus, and she needs a magical person in the clouds to protect and cradle the soul, from the torture of the mind and the body, which has been insidious and going on for over 10,000 years through violent, aggressive, selfish tribalism. So and when she was holding that phone, I told her, no, I think the hands of the sister of Jesus are right there. And I touched her hand. I tried to tell her, no, the clouds, that's just something that you see to help you feel like you have supernatural help. And stand up for the Lord's Prayer, and your help will be you standing up for what you deserve. That's what the sister of Christ needs to do. Because I told her, go be Catherine Christ, go be Louis Christ. Go do things in our name, stand up for the Lord's Prayer. Everybody can do it, and everybody benefits from it. So it's absolutely gorgeous. All right, peace.